Namaskar, Madam Principal, Vice Principal, teachers, other members of the staff, and my dear girls and boys. Warm greetings to one and all. I am very happy to share this blissful morning with all of you for two reasons. One, it gives me yet another opportunity to associate with the Bhavans after a gap. And two, the company of children. I have always found that the company of children re-energizes me a lot. So thank you very much for inviting me to be with you on this wonderful occasion. Thanks to modern science and advanced technology, education has not come to a standstill, even during this period of trial when the whole world is under the grip of a pandemic. If we are able to see and interact on virtual platform, it is only because of science. No doubt we owe a lot to science for making it possible. But then, I would say that science is not the ultimate. There are certain things in our life to which science can't provide answers or explanations. Therefore, we should live knowing the limits of science. To be asked to talk to you on the significance of Women's Day also makes me happy. It has always been a big day for us, especially after the turmoil of 2020. The day reminds us of our responsibilities and also reminds us how important it is to stay together for global peace and harmony. It is a day for us to join voice with the people around the world. The theme of International Women's Day in 2021 is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. The history of International Women's Day dates back to 1908, when a group of 15,000 women marched across the streets of New York City making some demands. In 1909, the first International Women's Day was declared, to be followed by a celebration only in 1911. Ever since, the global society of women underwent many changes. Even today, the world is undergoing many changes. The point is whether all these changes were positive, whether all these changes have helped to contribute for the betterment and the happiness of the society. I am reminded of a press meet. I have read about it. A press meet conducted by Dr. Vijayalakshmi Pandit long before it was after independence. So there were so many journalists sitting in front of her. One of them asked her a question on the Indian society and the status of women enjoyed in it. She happily answered, very brief answer. Condemn that society that exploits women. Condemn that society that slights women. Condemn that society that is indifferent to women. This is what she said. There was a loud round of applause in response to her statement. Then she raised her hand and sought their silence to enjoin thus. You know what she enjoined? Condemn that society where woman forgets her responsibilities in the name of freedom. Condemn that society where woman scorns her family and leaves it in the name of freedom. And she said, condemn that society in which woman raises challenges against the society in the name of freedom. She concluded, and there was a louder round of response to this statement of Vijayalakshmi Pandit. And remember that she was, Nehruji is our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's sister, and she was a champion of women's liberation. And so were Jawaharlal Nehru, Gandhiji, Bal Ganga Tilak, Vivekananda, Sarojini Naidu, and so many scholars during that period. India has given birth to so many great daughters like Jhansi Ki Rani, Rani Karmavati Bai, Sarojini Naidu, Amartya Pritam, Amrita Shergill, Indira Gandhi, and so many are there in this line. India is always proud about them also. But today, India has to stand crestfallen before the world because of some women traitors who betrayed our land for selfish gains. Over the century, the world saw unbelievable progress of women in the society. Through perseverance and hard work, women established her supremacy in the domains of teaching, banking, health, army, fine arts, etc. Even in the field of politics, the Indian woman has made her mark. Today, women enjoy freedom at par with men in all walks of life. She has the freedom to study whatever she wants. She has the freedom to do any job that would give her satisfaction. She has the freedom to spend the money she earns. She has the freedom to mingle with her friends, both males and females. She has the freedom to marry the man of her choice and get rid of him if she doesn't want to continue to live with him, overlooking the future of her children. In short, she enjoys unlimited freedom thanks to the fights put up by her predecessors and the changed outlook of the society. The wholehearted support of man also has helped her a lot in this regard. Whether we agree or disagree, these are the factors that brought the woman to the mainstream of the society. Nonetheless, there are some feminists who still crave for freedom. They are not happy with what they have got. I really do not understand from what or from whom are they seeking freedom. Is it from man, or is it from family, or from responsibilities, or from society, or the system as a whole? I have discussed with some of my feminist friends. To tell you the truth, none of them was able to give me a straightforward answer. All of them were in total confusion. So when I begged them not to mislead the younger generation, they snarled at me actually. Now allow me to slightly deviate from the main track. Like me, you also know that India has a great culture and heritage. I know you are all proud to be the children of India. Like me, you also uphold our heritage and values. You know why? Because you are the students of the esteemed Bhavan school. We know how our motherland has always stood for peace and harmony. We are Indians by mind and soul. We will never let down our culture, heritage and tradition under any circumstances. Being a writer, I have been closely watching the society for years. It shocks me to realize that bonds that unite the family members have been slackening day by day. And I made a research in this regard and found out that this happens mainly because of the thirst among the youngsters for unlimited freedom. The concept of family has great relevance in India, and we shall always remember that families are the keystones of our society, and societies are the pillars of our nation. In my opinion, woman is more talented than man in closely knitting the family bonds. Instead of fighting for selfish gains, woman shall utilize her potential to pursue real freedom, which is nothing but happiness. To derive this, she has to discharge her duties as a woman to the family, to the society, and to the nation at large. My prayer to each and every woman is to lead the way of the younger generation like an angel. Right from the ancient period, India has been following the joint family system. It is still an enigma to the Western countries. When children above 18 are sent to live independently in countries like the US, in India, even married children, they live with their parents, grandparents and uncles in the same ancestral home, enjoying the same common property. I do not disagree that the system has advantages and disadvantages, yet it provides a solid foundation to the society. And sound families, as I said earlier, are strong pillars of the society. Just imagine the stories of the grandmother enlivening the breakfast sessions and the harmless pranks and laughters of the children, lilting up the hearts of the grandparents. But nowadays, don't get angry with me when I say that nowadays there is an intruder, rather a villain who mars the joy of the family atmosphere. If I name the villain, you will get angry with me, but I have to name. Yes, you have guessed it right. The mobile phone. Leave it. We'll talk about something else. Let us get back to the joint family system. See, there is no better security for a woman than the insurance provided by a joint family. Senior people are also secure under the care of the joint family. The villain will be around, of course, but the mere presence of the youngsters and the children would make a difference. An unseen bond of love holds the members of the joint family together. 90% of the senior citizens of the world suffer loneliness and depression nowadays. We can compare the joint family to a school from where children learn lessons of confidence, love, patience, forbearance, and so many other traits that would mold them into good human beings. When we began to copy the Western society and the Western culture, old age homes and daycare centers cropped up in India also. Why bother to go that far? Look around Kochi. Every other area has an old age home or a daycare center for elders. I have seen many parents spending their old age in such homes, yearning for their children. People whose children are far away have no other way than living in old age homes. But when people whose children live in the same city also are destined to live in such homes, it is something different. I am not revealing the reasons or discussing about the reasons that force these unfortunate people to live under the care of old age homes. I would rather say that we should rethink and revive the old pattern of society. But it should be devoid of demerits. As I said, the system has its own advantages and disadvantages, and it is here that the woman should rise. She can take a lead provided she has some patience and magnanimity. Do remember that woman has a great role in man-making and nation-building. In India, we believe in the one and only goddess who manifests herself in different forms, namely Lakshmi, Parvati, Saraswati, Durga, Gauri, and so on. Like that, I am sure each and every woman of India can manifest herself in the forms of mother, daughter, sister, wife, teacher, neighbor, friend, and whatnot. She can certainly contribute to the unity among members of the family. When a family is sound, it adds to the unity of the society, and strong societies, as I said earlier, contribute to the welfare of the nation at large. So, my dear children, boys and girls, cast off your false notions about freedom and uphold the great culture of our nation. Find out what real freedom is and enjoy the bliss. Thank you and Godspeed.